Hi, I'm Copthorne MacDonald, Cop for short, and I'd like to tell you a few things about the Wisdom Page website. The Wisdom Page presents audio, video, and text materials that help us find answers to these three important questions. What is wisdom? Why is wisdom important? And how can we develop wisdom? Let's take a brief look at each of these questions, starting with what is wisdom, and a graph that may help explain the situation. Starting at the bottom of this pyramid, we have raw data, isolated facts. But if raw data is properly organized, it becomes useful information. When information is taken in by a person, internalized and made their own, it becomes personal knowledge. And when knowledge is augmented by an understanding of our relationship to the situation in which we find ourselves, to the physical world, to society, to other people, and when our values are such that we seek the well-being of all and the good of the whole, we are moving from knowledge to wisdom. Movement toward greater wisdom is accompanied by an expansion of concern. This figure illustrates the expansion of concern spatially, from concern about only oneself to concern about family and friends, to concern about everyone in the larger society, to the well-being of the biosphere, and our relationship with the whole cosmic process. There is also an expansion of concern in the dimension of time. As people grow in wisdom, their concern about today doesn't disappear, but they add to it a real concern about the more distant future and how today's actions may affect that future. For millennia, students of wisdom and writers about it have associated wisdom with a number of positive human characteristics. Among them are the 48 that are displayed, one by one, over the World at Night image at the top of the Wisdom Page homepage. Visit the website and see all 48. All too often, our personal decisions, and those made by politicians and corporate CEOs, have a narrow short-term focus and are not guided by the values that characterize wisdom. It is human values that drive human decision-making, and it is human decision-making that determines the kind of world in which we live. The values of wise people include the list at the right: empathy, compassion, the well-being of all, the good of the whole, concern for the future. Unfortunately, it is another set of values that characterizes our present world situation. Values that include self-interest, greed, fear, hate, and expediency. To create a better world, we need decision-makers who have internalized that wiser set of values. And it's not just politicians and CEOs who are making decisions. 100 times a day, you and I are also decision makers. To grow in wisdom, we need to expand our circle of concern in space and time, and internalize those values of the wise, such as empathy, compassion, the well-being of all, the good of the whole, and concern for the future. Things that help us do this include a wide range of involvements with the world and inner work, work that helps us develop psychologically and spiritually. Meditation is one form of inner work that has been found to be especially effective, and the Wisdom Page has many helpful resources which focus on that practice. Meditation, whether approached in a secular way or within a spiritual tradition such as Buddhism, can greatly accelerate the process of wisdom development. Ken Wilber cites research indicating that meditation is the only proven way to move our psychological, spiritual development beyond the sensitive self stage to the integrative and holistic stages. He noted, less than 2% of the adult population scores at Jane Lovinger's highest two stages of self-development, autonomous and integrated, and went on to say, no practice, including psychotherapy, holotropic breathwork, or NLP, has been shown to substantially increase that percentage. With one exception, studies have shown that consistent meditation practice over a several-year period increases that percentage from 2% to an astonishing 38%. While daily meditation practice of any duration is helpful, a 7 to 10-day meditation retreat allows the attainment of a profoundly quiet mind and many accompanying benefits. In our culture, we fill our waking hours with discursive thinking. We think about the past, we think about the future, we plan, we solve problems. That's fine, but it means that in our busy-buzzy world, our mind is almost always busy and buzzy. It is a noisy mind, full of high-amplitude informational content. At the left of the image on your screen, we have the usual noisy mind situation. Pure quiet awareness is there as the substrate or the ground of mind, but it is modulated by a lot of high-intensity information. Thoughts, sensations, emotions, much mind content. At the right, the graphic depicts the quiet mind. This is not sleep. The person is highly alert and aware, but the quantity and intensity of mental information is way down. The transitional slope between one state and the other depicts what happens during the first 3 or 4 days of a meditation retreat. The key to going from a noisy mind to a quiet mind is not to tell someone to stop thinking. That just doesn't work. The key is paying attention to something subtle. That does the trick because we can't think discursively and pay close attention at the same time. When we pay attention for long periods, the discursive thinking dies out and the mind gets quiet. A quiet mind not only introduces the practitioner to a profound inner peace, it also facilitates communication with the subconscious. This in turn leads to greater self-knowledge and greater creativity. Moreover, the high level of attentiveness, coupled with freedom from content overload, leads to a clearer understanding of how the mind works. Thanks for watching this brief introduction to the Wisdom Page. If you are interested in what wisdom is, how it's developed, or just about any other aspect of the subject, pay the Wisdom Page a visit. Its URL is www.wisdompage.com.